Hey everybody, Hoopla here. Want to share some techniques and tricks for getting out of your comfort zone and making something different. So what I was trying to do here is, and want to share with you, is making kind of sample-based 90s inspired boom bap beats, kind of in the style of Nujabes, J Dilla, Q-Tip, and all of Pete Rock, all of those legends. Uh, and kind of take a step back from all the VSTs and all of the complex production techniques and just kind of make something simple and vibey with very few things. So this is what I made, and let's take a listen. Cool. So yeah, really basic kind of vibey beat, but it came together really fast in less than maybe this. I came to this final loop, which we'll get to in maybe 15 minutes. So to do that and to find and really just get a really nice sample, I just used this site Samplet. And this is really awesome for all producers and anyone looking for just random samples to flip. These samples are of course not going to be royalty free unless you go beyond a certain year, but you can go into style and genre. And what I did for this, just kind of practice and fun making stuff, I want to flip some old school jazz. So I went jazz, and then I think in the year actually put in like around 60 to 1980 or something like that. And you can hit apply, and then you can just go random. And I wanted to challenge myself to make something in either just a few flips or maybe even just one flip. But I landed on this Where Flamingos Fly by Peggy Lee. Shout out Peggy Lee. And we used Sample, the Chrome extension. You could use whatever, but this extension is really awesome, especially if you're using Chrome, to just record in what you want and then download it into your downloads. So once you go into your downloads, you can see I've downloaded a bunch of these recordings, and that's what I've gotten right here. So once you have your recording, you can just go ahead and make a MIDI channel, and you can just drag in the sample. So this is I have two samples of the same song, just different parts of the song. I think here I was skipping around a little bit looking for different kind of things, but I wanted these keys in the beginning. So I just grabbed a MIDI channel and just threw this in here. And then you have a few options. You have the classic mode, which is just going to play through the sample. So if I make sure this is armed and play the right octave, it's pitching this sample up and down, which could be cool, but I kind of wanted to go back to that MPC style of chopping samples. So you can just go slice and go automatically. It's given me some sample chops. So let's make sure I'm on the right octave, C1. Now let's turn this up a lot. And so now I basically just have different chops of samples that I can do and I can use to groove with. So what I did first to start off was I grabbed a drum break that I thought was cool. Sounds like this. And I just started jamming. And I just started jamming all over this breakbeat. So let's just solo both these. So, you know, some of these might be short, so we can go sensitive, so they're less chops, and we can also go gate, so it just chops off when I want it. So, and we can also mess with the filter here, and this is all stuff that would have been available just like on an MPC, as well as pitching it down is great. So just messing around with that a little bit, I came up with this pattern here. So that sounds like this together. So this is stage one of the idea. It's just grabbing a break and chopping out these samples so you can see it. Cool. So don't worry about any of the processing. I just wanted to get this, you know, this chopping and this pattern. So once I got that, I wanted to kind of layer it up and kind of beef up this sound. So I went and grabbed one of my own breaks, and this is a perfect time for me to show off my new drum pack, which has breaks, fills, rolls, kicks, snats, anything you need to really build out a good drum track. But it has these full drum breaks. So I grabbed one that I like, and it sounds like this. And I just like the way it layers with this one, and this is you know, something you will hear in like in Pete Rock does this a lot, where he'll kind of layer up breaks to fatten them up and give interest to the rhythm. But depending on the beat that you're making, you know, maybe this will be too much and maybe you just need something simple. But for this, I wanted to keep fattening it up, and I wanted to do the same thing with the sample. So what I did was I did a little bit of effects, just filtering, and a flanger. I just threw a stock flanger on there, and I got this kind of sound. So again, I wanted to kind of beef that up. So this should not be on. I went and pitched this whole thing. I just took this, duplicated it with all of the processing and everything, pitched it down, and so I got this. So just the low version. And just that with the drums was really cool. And then adding back this high layer gives it back the right, so just kind of filtering out stuff. You know, I just cut out the low end of this, because next I was going to add a bass line. And for making a bass line, you can, you know, these guys were a lot of time actual bass players and had bass guitars in their studios, but other times they would kind of just sample a bass note from the record. So what I did is I actually went back into my sample, into the same sample that I took, and I just found where, let me turn this filter off. I just found where, you know, there was a bass note in there. You know, there's some piano stuff on top and whatnot, but I was able to filter it down. To get a pretty nice rich bass, and that's something you'll hear a lot. It sounds like very filtered off. It almost just sounds like a sine wave. And a side note, you know, like we were talking about bass guitars, you know, these guys sometimes would go for a bass guitar sound, but it just didn't work with this beat. But I wanted to just, you know, quickly show, like, I'm using this sampler instrument. It's got a lot of nice samplers. You get it free with like a MIDI instrument, but gives a much more like round, open harmonic bass tone. Here, let's open up this filter. So that's a sound you'll hear in these kind of beats a lot. But for this one, I wanted to go with like the more filtered sine wave. Right, so, and this is one that I just kind of played in. I didn't really, you know, care too much about getting it right on beat. I wanted it to kind of groove with the drums more. and yeah, again, left all of the drums, you know, with their swing and their imperfections, and just kind of leaning into the groove of it. And yeah, these guys a lot of times were like to play like short notes. It's kind of staccato R&B kind of bass lines, thinking that kind of realm, but very simple. You know, just laying it down and holding it down. Okay, so now we have like basically the bones of our beat. We need to, you know, give it the rest of the life. And so again, I just went back into the sample, and later on in the sample there was, you know, some singing. So I just took I just threw that back into Simpler, put it on slice mode, and just messed with. I didn't even mess with the sensitivity. I just kind of found this chop without any reverb. And I thought that I just played with it and added a little bit of reverb, sent it to a little bit of Supermassive, and it sounds really nice, like layered on top of this beat. Then, you know, again, thinking about the kind of stuff that you hear in Nujabes and J Dilla and Q-Tip music, I wanted to kind of add a little bit of just a electric piano kind of little riff to kind of give some more ear candy. Again, lots of reverb, giving it more of that atmosphere. And then once I had this beat, I thought it was a little too clean. And one thing you'll hear a lot in J Dilla's music, especially and all of them for that matter, is vinyl vinyl noise. So I just went and searched for some vinyl noise, and I got this. And it just adds a little bit of crackle in the background. I took out some of the high end from it. And a lot of this music is going to be lacking in the very highest of highs, or at least it's going to be kind of tame, very tame, and that kind of gives the characteristic of this music. Again, for the last section, I want to again add some more ear candy. And one thing you hear these guys do a lot is turntablism and scratching. So I just went and found some scratch cuts that I had somewhere on my computer, on my one of these many sample packs that I have. And you can go on Reddit, you know, Splice, YouTube to find scratch cuts. But I just wanted to put like, you know, a little fills and little bits just to keep it interesting, and that's kind of what you would hear on these beats. So yeah, once I have all of my ear candy and all of this, it's really not much, but it came together really fast. Yeah, once you have this beat, you can kind of start to arrange it out. And again, with the arrangement, I want to kind of stick to the style, doing you know, using a lot of just filtering. So moving around some of these filters to kind of get different sections and kind of taking different things out. Another thing I want to mention are these kind of just really simple drum chops, to where you don't have to be so, you know, so precise with it. You can just grab a piece and just kind of loop it over, take little sections out. One thing you'll hear a lot is like, you know, the drums just go missing for a second. Or everything goes missing for a second and it kind of comes back in, so that sounds like this. Or in this case, kind of like this double kick kind of thing, or quad kick. This kind of sound is something you'll hear a lot with the kick right before the other kick. But yeah, there's the beat. So first, you want to start off, to kind of reiterate what we were talking about, is kind of start off with your main idea, just chopping your sample, and then kind of fatten it up. And basically the idea is to as quickly as possible get to something that sounds like groovy in a loop. And yeah, I did this in around 15 minutes. Got this loop in around 15 minutes. Or actually, don't think it had the scratch cuts. I think I spent a little bit more time on the scratch cuts, and it was just this. Um, but yeah, it's a fun way to break out of your rut, especially if you're someone like me who makes mostly electronic music, doesn't make a lot of sample based music. I will have to preface this, you or kind of give warning that you will have to clear these samples or get permission to sample anything. This is more for just kind of fun and kind of emulating the producers that really inspired me. So yeah, let me know what hip hop producers inspired you. And yeah, I hope this is helpful. I hope that you find some cool, weird stuff using Samplet. And thanks for watching. See you next time.